All right, hello everybody. I'm going to have you start off by opening our Adobe Animate. To do that, I'm going to have you just search it in your bar, select it here, and it should pop up. It might take a moment to load. You can pause this video while it does so. Okay, so open this up. We're going to be creating a short animation today. Select New File right here. Within New File, I'm going to have you ignore pretty much everything. We're just going to go with Square for now. A lot of these are presets for different social media things. This one's mostly for Instagram, which is owned by Facebook, in case you didn't know. But they've got YouTube and all these other things, and then other forms here. So your document spread should say 600 by 600, frame rate should be 12, and we should remain at ActionScript 3, okay? From there, you can hit Create, and it will open up this page. I personally like to have my timeline at the top. You can move this around if you like. Oops, you can move this around. You can push it to the bottom. The way to make sure it's anchored, though, is you see this blue line light up, and then it'll join. Otherwise, you can leave it floating. I think it's a mess. I wouldn't do that if I were you. So I like to leave mine at the top. So there it is. We are going to create a short animation today, but for now we're going to just do a couple things really quick. So first thing we're going to go over is hotkeys, okay? So hotkeys are buttons that you can press on your keyboard that will do certain things. And a lot of these hotkeys also, something to remember is that they are similar across almost all Adobe products. So a hotkey for Photoshop will probably be the same or very similar to one on Animate or even something like InDesign, which is a very different platform, okay? So keep that in mind. So first hotkey we're going to talk about right now is B. B is brush. That is what I'm using right now. This is brush, okay? Squiggly lines, brush, okay? Next one we're going to do, I just hit right now, is actually before that, we're going to go for E. If B is brush, an idea E is erase, okay? So E hits erase, and you can erase. It's awesome. It's great. Super necessary, something you're going to have to use at some point or another, okay? What I've just done as well is called Control Z. It's probably the one that you're going to use most often, okay? So that is the Control button, and then Z. That is undo, okay? And that goes for most things. That can be for drawing. Sometimes it'll work. I think it works for things like frames and stuff. If you add a frame and you don't want it there, you can undo it. It works for pretty much for most things in the Adobe world and whatnot. That's actually something that will probably also work on things like Microsoft or like Google products. Control Z is like almost a completely universal undo everywhere. Okay. Next one we're going to talk about is V. V is select. Okay, I'm sure you saw me use it a moment ago. If I press B, I have an arrow. You see this here? Okay. That is just pretty much just like your basic mouse cursor, okay? Like imagine like you're trying to select something, you kind of drag and select. It's your basic mouse arrow. What's nice about this V is that you can also move stuff around, okay? It's your selection tool. It's sort of like your move tool, all those things, okay? And you can see when something is selected when it has this like dot pattern, okay? Next one we are going to talk about, there was another one I know. Oh man. Oh yes, spacebar. Spacebar is grab, okay? It's going to be a little hand like this, and you can move your canvas around. That's really all you need to know about that one. That's all it really does. It's just very helpful for if you're drawing one part and you want to see something else, all those things. So if you're zoomed, especially if you're zoomed in really far, and you can't see everything, you're going to need to move around to see more. I personally like to stay at about, like 120 or so. Come on. I like to stay around there so the screen is mostly filled, especially for something like we're going to do simple today. Okay. These are our main hotkeys that we're going to talk about. I'd like you guys to all write them down next to you on a little piece of paper for reference later, okay? I'm going to delete them. You can scroll back this video if you need to later, but for now, please write them down, okay? So those are our hotkeys. And then you also have the option to delete. You just press delete. You have to select something to delete it, but there you go. Okay, so on that note, first things first, what I'm going to have you guys do before we do anything else is I'm going to have you click File, Save As. It will pop up your page, okay? I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. We're going to just say this is our short animation. Okay. And save it. It should be as an animate document.fla. Okay. Press save. There you go. Okay. So now we have this document tied to our computer. If we close this page down, it won't delete our entire document. Okay. And everything in it. So on that note, this is our first frame. Okay. I want you guys to draw something. I don't care what it is. Please make it appropriate for the classroom. Draw something. I'm going to draw a strawberry. Very cute, very fun, very easy, simple. Try not to go with like coloring anything in solid. I'd like you guys to keep it mostly line work, okay? So go ahead and make a drawing. Let me do fun. Ooh, that is very not fun little cute drawing. Okay, strawberry. All right. So my strawberry is a little bit off center. I'm actually going to select it completely. Make sure you, like, I don't know if you guys saw that, but it only selected this bottom portion. If I do that, it'll take it away, okay? So select everything. I'm going to pull it down here. That is going to be the first frame of our animation, okay? Once you're done drawing that, continue this video. I'm going to have us place something else at 1 second here, okay? We're going to select 1 second. This is the actual time that's happening in the real world, and this is our timeline, okay? This whole thing is our timeline. This is the time, this is the amount of frames. Since we picked 12 frames per second, we're going to have 12 frames to get to 1 second. So if you right click this here, you are going to get the option for different frames. I'm going to have you guys just select blank keyframe here, okay? So on that note, I'm going to have you guys draw something else completely different. I did a strawberry for the first one. I'm going to draw I'm going to draw something that was kind of round, draw something kind of pointy this time. Maybe an umbrella. Okay, just looking around my room finding stuff that I think would be fun to draw. Okay, and my umbrella. Ooh, I do not like the way that handle looked. Here we go. That's a little better. Awesome. Okay, there's my umbrella. Great. Not perfect, but it's something. I'm actually going to move it up a little bit because it's kind of far down. Awesome. Okay. So those are my 2 frames. I want you guys to go to 6 frames. If we have 1 on 1 and 1 on 12, I want you to go to 6 right here, okay? And then I want you to select blank keyframe again, okay? So now we have our strawberry, blank keyframe, umbrella. Okay. So on our blank keyframe, we have to be selected on 6. Okay. If we go anywhere else, we're going to be drawing somewhere else. I need you to be on 6. Okay. Halfway through. This button right here is called an onion skin. Okay. I don't know if you've ever cut an onion. The skin is very transparent, very see-through. It's the same idea here. The point of an onion skin is to let you see a little bit before what you're doing and a little bit after what you're doing. So if there's anything in the frames that you've drawn before or after, you can see like a shadow of it. So if I hit onion skin right now, what's going to happen is it's going to show up a ghost of our strawberry, okay? So this is what our strawberry looks like, the lines here, and this is what we would look like on this frame, okay? If I were to erase, I won't be actually erasing the strawberry because it's not on this frame. It's actually on our first frame, okay? Right now, all we can really see is the strawberry. This onion skin right now is showing us 2 frames before and 2 frames, or sorry, 2 frames after and 2 frames before. For the purpose of this, I would normally I would recommend just doing 1 frame before and after. Right now, I'm going to recommend you push this all the way to the top, or all the way to the back and all the way to the front, okay? So we can see our umbrella and our strawberry very faintly, because again, it's really far away, so they're getting fainter as they're further out, okay? So again, normally I would say keep the blue to 1 frame and the green to 1 frame, just for simplicity's sake, so you don't have too much going on. If we had a bunch of other drawings in here and they were showing up against these, it would be very overwhelming to see because there would just be drawings all over and they'd all be laying on top of each other. So just for right now, I'm going to have you select our 6. So we're on frame 6. And I want you to drag our onion skins to the very beginning and the very end. Okay. I want you guys to click save. You never want it to crash and then lose all your progress. So now what we're going to do is I want you to look at your 2 drawings and I want you to draw something weird like morphing between them. Okay. So some weird morph between your 2 drawings. So for me, I've got kind of pointy and pointy here, but then like it's kind of like this weird, like this is pointy, that's kind of flat, and in between these 2, so I'm going to draw something that's kind of pointy, kind of flat, okay? So in between, both like the lines, there's a line here and a line here. I want you to draw physically in between and then physically kind of in between those as well. So I'm not necessarily, so for mine, because it's pointy and it's flat, I'm going to draw something that's just rounded instead, okay? So I want you to do that for all of these. Each line should have like a comparison line kind of. So what I'm going to say for this, I'm going to say like the top of the strawberry is probably going to be like the umbrella itself, and I'm probably going to leave the bottom of the strawberry into the handle, okay? So that's going to be my plan, okay? It's going to be a little bit confusing. It does not need to be perfect. Again, we're just kind of making it in between. So if this is our shape here, and this is our shape here, something in between. Doesn't need to be perfect, again. So then I've got my bottom of my strawberry here, and the bottom of the umbrella, so I'm going to draw something in between again. Maybe like this, kind of. Yeah, a weird broccoli shape, okay? So that's my in-between frame. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in between these two, and I'm going to drag my onion skin back again, okay? So now I want my onion skin to show me my first frame, and I want it to show me my sixth frame, okay? Again, what we do is we are going to right-click here and select Blink Keyframe, okay? Now what we can see is we can see our strawberry, and we can see our weird broccoli in-between shape. I want you to, again, do an in-between, okay? Okay, in between our lines here, in between our lines. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, great. Something to keep in mind is I do have this stem here. I'm going to have it shrink on itself. Have it shrink, and then it'll kind of pop away, and we'll do a little pop effect. So there's that, and then we've got our like broccoli stem part right here. Cool. And then I want you to go in between these two. So in between, again, drag our onion skin so we can see 6 and so we can see our end. We should be able to see our umbrella, and we should be able to see our broccoli. Again, right-click, Blink Keyframe. All right. Go in here, and I'm going to have you draw in between again. So we're going to get even more flat here, because we're losing our little spikiness that our strawberry leaves had. Getting closer to our umbrella shape. Okay. All right. It's going to be cool. Draw this out again. Cool. I'm going to have these I'm actually going to have these come up like this, because I'm going to have them grow into these like little pieces right here, okay? Cool. So now we have a couple frames. We have 1 frame, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you want to preview what that's going to look like here, we can go ahead and hit that. It's not going to look great. It's not bad, but it's not great, okay? So for now, we're going to leave that be. I want you to go in, and I want you to add more between. These are called tween frames. So this is our keyframe. This is our keyframe, okay? This is our first tween, and then we're getting more and more divided after that, okay? They're called tween frames. They're in between, so it's meant to kind of transition. So I'm going to create another blank frame here. And again, oh, not that, blank frame. Undo, blank keyframe. Okay. I'm going to drag this onion skin again, so all I can see are my one before and one after. And we're going to have some fun with it. I'm going to shrink this a little bit, because again, this was, zoom in. Oh, you can zoom in right here. I'm going to pull this in, again, kind of try to match up where we're at. And we're just always going in between now, okay? All right, so there's my stem. And then I'm going to have this like that. Shrink this in. Oh, hang on. Doo-doo. Sorry, I don't like that. Okay. And you guys can, I don't want to that. In between these two, I was going to have to go here. Okay. You can speed through this part if you would like, because it's going to take me some time, and it's going to take you some time as well, okay? And then because we had this, we're going to pull this along with us. So again, we don't want it to be too far out, because we want to be able to see where we've been and where we're going, but we don't want to push it too far where we are having a hard time to see what's going on. So, okay. Again, right click for a blink keyframe. Actually going to have you guys go in here and just hit blink keyframe for every frame. Okay, so we don't have to keep doing it over and over again. Again, so we have 2 frames to go, so this is going to get a little smaller, and the next frame is going to go away completely. So I'm going to redo this. Oopsies. And again, just going to look weird. In case you mess up, you can always undo it. That'd be great. Just keep chugging along. Doesn't need to be perfect. just have fun with it, let it go with the flow. Right now what we're mostly learning is just how to use this program and just how to use the program and just getting comfortable with like the idea of doing in betweens. So I'm going to drag this in so it's 1 and 1. And this part I'm going to do a little effect where it's a circle and it's going to just pop away. Oop, okay. And the next frame will be gone. So and again, we're just going to keep on. Oh shoot, that was not what I wanted to do. Keep on trucking along. On. Alrighty. Again, make sure you're trying to go in between as much as possible. It might be a little confusing. Just take your time, go with it. Right now our green is in the future and blue is in past. We're going to be trying to turn it into the green from the blue. So when we've got our frame here, we're going to go here, 1 behind, and I'm actually going to push this to 2 in front so I can see where we're going. Okay. So now we're going in between here, again and again, over and over. I'm going to speed this up for you guys to watch. All right, and our next frame, oh, hang on. Our next frame, select, and then we're going to shrink this down again, so we're keeping it to it right here. Okay. Getting a little closer to our end. We're past halfway at this point. Okay, we're at our 8th frame. So once we finish this frame, we'll only have 2 more here because we already did our 9th and we already did our 12th. So 8, 10, and 11 left. Okay. Some math, just basic math. I don't need to explain to you guys. Okay. Oops, I don't like that. Undo. Okay, once again, I'm going to speed this up for you guys. We're just trying to go in between these shapes right now. Awesome. So again, we're going to stretch this out so we can see the next one. All right. So now what I'm going to do, again, we have 2 here, so we don't need to worry too much about getting stuff done right away. So we have these in here. Right? Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to stretch this out kind of significantly because these are going to have to go fast because we only have 2 frames for these guys. Oops. Cool. Okay, and then I'm going to actually start disconnecting these guys. I have to do is try not to color stuff in here and coloring stuff in, but use your discretion. Again, you're gonna have to morph whatever it is. So either morphing line work or morphing shapes. Just if you think you can handle it, then you can go ahead and do it. But just keep in mind that it's going to be more difficult than just doing lines. As you can see with how I'm messing around with this and having to go back a bunch. Okay, shrink it down again. Okay, and then this is our last frame before we're done with this whole thing right here. Again, we're doing in-betweens. Cool. Just chug it along. Having fun. And again, you can make this more or less detailed how you want to do it. You don't need to follow what I'm doing exactly. Again, we're just trying to get used to working in betweens and working in this program, okay? So you want to tackle something that's difficult, go for it. If you want to go more or less, that's up to you as well. So that was our last frame we just did. So what we're going to do now, turn off this onion skin, and we're going to watch it. So just press this play button. You'll see as it turns into a strawberry. And if you, I believe you can right click, I don't know. Oh, you can hit loop right here, and then just this. And loop, hold this over. So this is the top of here. That's what's lifting. We're going to loop the whole thing. So here it goes. It's definitely merging into a different shape. It's not the cutest. We could have done something. Maybe if we had actually turned it into a broccoli halfway, or maybe a mushroom, it would have been more entertaining or more visually appealing here. Because what we have is this weird halfway shape that we spend a lot of time in this halfway shape. So one way to fix that, what we're going to do is we're actually going to take this here, and we're going to, we'll click first our first frame, and then push shift, and then click this last frame. We're going to slide these all over. I'm going to say 2 frames, okay? So we have 2 blank frames in the beginning. Copy frame. You can't do Control C, Control V. Press copy frame and paste frame. So it should be the same for the first 3, and then I'm going to have the same thing here. Copy frame, paste frame, and paste frame. Cool. We're going to loop it again. We'll spend some more time with the strawberries and more with the umbrellas so we can kind of see those for a little longer before it merges. There you go. There's our animation. Next time we work on this, we can do something that's maybe a little bit more intentional, a little bit more exciting, but just wanted you guys to get used to the idea of transformation through animation. Okay? So, again, we should have been saving a little more as we went on our way, but I'm going to have you guys press save again. Most important thing, we're going to hit File, Export Video Media. It's going to take a moment to open up. Oh, hang on, went on the wrong page. So here it is. Make sure it's not on any other screens if you have them. We're going to do format. Where is it? I'll have you guys just do animated GIF. We'll just do animated GIF, and then you can just export it. Make sure it's in the same spot as your animation file. Mine's in here. It's just not in here because it's showing up under a different file type. And then press save. Awesome. There you go. Oh, hang on. It's going to want to go through it. It's Adobe Media Encoder may pop up. That's okay. If it does that, just press OK, and then it'll say done when it's done. And then you should be able to open it after that. Yes, okay. So then it pops up. There it is. There's no background on ours because we didn't put a background in. This is a transparent background GIF. That's why it looks so dark, because I have dark mode on, and it's a transparent GIF with black landmark. If we wanted to, we can re-export it. We would click this right here. This is a layer, and drag it to the bottom. Take white or whatever color you want, and now we're going to press R, and then drag and drop that there, and that will be our background for the whole way through. So anyways, I'm going to have you guys go here. We have our background. I'm going to have you export video media. Make sure it's in the right location again. Okay. Awesome. Export. Adobe Media Encoder will have you pop up. It's going to mostly just think on its own for a little bit. You can close it once the right side of everything says done here. The status of all these should say done, and then you can close it. And then if you refresh your file page, it will pop up from there. So there, now we have a background. So you can see what it looks like without one, and one with it. So that'll be it for today. Again, press save just in case, and then you can close your file, and we will be done. And I would like you guys to send those to me when you have finished.